don't know why it does that, but it does that every week. Hey, producer, can I get my own intro video for this show? That would be cool. What's up, everybody? It's another Sunday morning. It's another Breakfast with Bigz. It's week 9 of the fantasy football season. It is Bye-Mageddon, week 2. There are 4 teams on bye: Cleveland Browns, New York Jets, Philadelphia Eagles, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So you don't have the likes of Baker Mayfield, Jalen Hurts. There's other guys, Dylan Gabriel, Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson. Well, he was out anyway. Breece Hall, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard. Those are some guys. Those are some names of players. Those are some guys that you don't have in your lineups. So send me your starts and sits questions, and we will go over some stuff. And Massachusetts football guy, being a typical masshole, also shout out for the share of the show on Twitter. Thank you, sir. Starting it off with one of the worst questions possible for the week, and just like getting right down to business. We're going to do starts and sits here for a little bit, and then I have a cocktail for you, and it's going to be a wild one. This is a wild breakfast cocktail. As you know, I am a fan of a nog. I like a good nog, and I came up with a pretty good one. The reason that I'm at the breakfast table with Uncle Owen and Aunt Baru is because I've created a blue milk nog that is going to blow your mind. So that'll be fun. But let's get to the question first. The first one. Good morning, man. Good morning to you. Zach Charbonnet, or K9, at first flex. And we look at the matchup, and the Seahawks are playing the Washington D. It's a good matchup. Washington is below average in yards allowed. And looking at the fantasy points allowed, they're kind of in the middle. They're ranked 13th in points allowed to running backs at 16.8. Atlanta's at 17. Cincinnati Bengals are at 27. But the big question is, are you comfortable starting K9, or do you roll with Zach Charbonnet? And I think you just have to kind of look at their snap shares. Because I think they're both similar plays. And if you're trying to get one of them in, Kenneth Walker has 26 snaps per game. Zach Charbonnet has 34. But Kenneth Walker, 51% rush percentage, 36% for Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker has the highest utilization rate on the Seahawks. So you got to go Kenneth Walker here. Zach Charbonnet is a play if you don't have Kenneth Walker, but if you have the two, you got to go with K9. And that's hard to say, but I got to say it. All right. Big comfy couch, full PPR. I need one. Odunze or Devontae Adams? Let's go to the matchups. We got the Bears. I mean, I was leaning Devontae first, and they have the best matchup against New Orleans. And then the Bears against Cincinnati. That's another tough one because Cincinnati is the worst. But I want to say they're not the worst. Where'd it go? Wow, they're actually not. they're not the worst against wide receivers. I thought they were the worst against wide receivers. Maybe it's just running backs that kill them. And then where did the Saints go? There the Saints are. Saints and Bengals. Defensively, it's as far as fantasy points allowed to wide receivers, it's a pretty similar matchup. Well, New Orleans gives up many fewer yards than Cincinnati does, but the points are about the same. So I guess it looks like Odunze. Roll with Odunze. Based on the matchups, roll with Odunze. If your gut says something different, then by all means go with it. But as far as the data analysis shows, based on points allowed and yards allowed by the defense, Odunze is the play. But I do like Devontae Adams more. Okay, should I flex Woody Marks or DJ Moore? You guys are coming up with some bangers this morning and hurting my head. You got to go with DJ Moore. Nick Chubb is still a thing. I do like Woody, but Nick Chubb is still there. And as we said, who's we? Oh, Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru and me. That's the we. As I said, we have a leaky matchup against Cincinnati. Similar points at wide receiver to the New Orleans matchup, but they're a funnel. Cincinnati's a funnel for yards. All right, Sutton or Tracy, PPR. I'm going Tracy. Denver's matchup against Houston. Houston is a lockdown defensive backfield. We saw what they did to the 49ers last week. They are second fewest points allowed in fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. And Tracy is the RB1 in that offense. Is it a good matchup for Tracy? I can't see because I'm wearing my glasses. That should be clipped. It's an okay matchup. San Francisco against running backs. Isn't they're middle of the road, middle of the pack. But yeah, Tyrone Tracy he's the lead back in that offense. So I'm going Tracy in this one. Big comfy couch 2. Pick 2, Drake May, Danny Dimes, or Stafford. All right. So pick 2 for what? To win their real life games or for fantasy? I know it's the answer is for fantasy. Okay. Danny Dimes against Pittsburgh, Stafford, and Drake May. Pats against Atlanta. Oh, come on. Atlanta's pretty good about giving up points to quarterbacks, 16.6. The Saints are not as good, and Danny Dimes has, again, Pittsburgh. Based on matchups, I'm going Stafford and Daniel Jones. However, Drake May does give you that rushing upside. Let's see what the Falcons do against rush quarterbacks. 144 yards given up against rushing quarterbacks and 1 touchdown. Yeah, I'm going Daniel Jones and Matthew Stafford. And Jorge Zamudio, 2356, says, morning. It is. It indeed is morning. Big comfy couch. Javante, Butte, or Rico in flex. I'm going Javante. A, he's the lead back in Dallas. B, Rico, we don't know what the usage rate is going to be in Carolina. And C, Booty, my on my sit show, if on our fantasy forecast sit show, if you had watched that, one of my sits was all of the New England Patriots wide receivers. I don't trust any of them this week. All right. And Joe and Dylan. Good Lord, I'm Irish, and I said Dylan. Dylan, I'm sorry, Dylan. Dylan Fink says, "Morning. Let's have a day. Yes, sir. Let's do that. Full PPR, one flex. T. Higgins versus Chicago. Tucker Kraft versus Carolina has Warren in the tight end position. Projected to be a close matchup. I'm going Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft is a wagon, and T. Higgins is a best ball play. He spikes, but he's not Jamar Chase, and Jamar Chase is healthy and productive. And Tucker Kraft is a primary target in that Packers offense. So you go with Kraft in that one. All right. Yoshivash or Tyler Higbee in first flex. This one's rough. I don't know, man. Thank you, Masshole, for your question. But you're looking at single digits for both. I don't know if there's even double digit upside for these two. But I got to go Yoshivash. And Big Comfy Couch says, "Thank you, sir." I thought that. Oh, sorry, Mike. I skipped you. I know you were waiting patiently, and for some reason, my brain just skipped right over you. Kind of the way I forgot points after Thursday on Thursday. Kendrick Bourne or Brashard Smith. I like that you picked two of the teams I hate the most, coming off the Dodgers World Series win last night, which broke my heart, and Cal lost and UC Davis lost, and yesterday was just one of the worst sports days I've had in my life. It was terrible. I'm going Brashard Smith in this one. And also, Mike, thank you for your question, and I'm sorry that Canada lost yesterday. Okay, let's do a cocktail right after this. Hey there, friend. Bigz here. It's time we had a conversation about a dilemma facing most Americans. I'm talking about PDD, pickle deficiency disorder. You or someone you know loves pickles and suffers from PDD. Thankfully, there's someone to help. Chris's Smoked Pickles. Chris is doing big things up in Big Lake, Alaska, mainly making the best freaking pickles you've ever had. Chris's Smoked Pickles come in 3 flavors: regular, jalapeno, and my favorite, habanero. That's for the chili heads. He's also making these flavors in a jarred relish, perfect for hot dogs or other sandwiches. The smoky brine is also fantastic in a dirty martini. If pickles aren't your thing, don't worry. Chris is also smoking various cheeses and meat sticks. And he makes a trail mix. You can find Chris's Smoked Pickles on Facebook and reach out to him on Messenger, or call him or text at the number on the bottom of the screen. Use hashtag Bigz in the message for a special deal exclusive to my viewers. Don't live another day with PDD. Order from Chris's Smoked Pickles now. Hey, look at me. I don't know how the audio is on this, so I'm going to shout, but I got a bar in my studio. I'm going to make this Star Wars inspired nog. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to dry shake an egg. I never have good luck with the eggs in these videos, but that one went okay. All right. Dry shake the egg, and then we're going to go with 1.5 ounces of tequila. And this is 818 tequila. I think it's a Kardashian, but I was doing some tequila research last night, and there's a certain process of making tequila that is super important. Number one, they cook the agave in brick ovens, and number two, they use a roller mill to mash the agave after it's cooked. You get some pretty bad process with the major brand tequilas. They use diffusers and some use like hydroloric acid. Like they do bad things and they add additives. I found out that this, even though it's a celebrity tequila, they still use good process. She just put her name on it, but it's good tequila. So use Tequila Matchmaker or Agave Matchmaker app and find good process tequilas. Sometimes you might pay a little bit more, but this was cheaper than some of the other trash brands like Don Julio and Patron. Avoid those. All right. Then we're going to go with 1.5 ounces of blue Curacao. So Curacao is it's a triple sec. It's just blue in color. So it has an orange flavor. And you can use it in margaritas and stuff like that, where it calls for some kind of triple sec like Cointreau or something like that. Then we're going to go with 3 ounces of milk. I told you this was a nog. Three ounces of milk. And then our ice. Like LMFAO and Party Rock Anthem, we shake that. Go double strainer on the glass. And we have a blue eggnog. Oh, it's delicious, but I forgot the pièce de résistance. A couple of drops of Peychaud's bitters on top because it just gives a little red aura. I got my PhD in Riz from University of Aura. And just like Mr. Rogers, let's go back to the studio. And we're back. How seamless was that? No, really, how seamless was that? Was that okay? All right, let's get back in the chat. Big Comfy Couch says, thank you, sir. Massachusetts Football Guy says, yeah, it's a rough one. Thanks, though. Jorge Zamudio, what defense do I play, Colts or Seahawks? Let's see. Indy against Pittsburgh, Seahawks against Washington. Quick to the database. Points allowed to defenses, special teams. Steelers are good. And Washington is less good. So I go Seahawks. Also, Shard or Monangai, Myers or Jennings. So I think you mean Sharb. Is that Zach Charbonnet or Swiss Shard or Rainbow Shard, the leafy vegetable? I'm going Monangai. That's just a gut feeling. There's no analysis there. But Roshan Johnson is hurt. DeAndre Swift is hurt. The Bears need a running attack. Monangai has looked okay. So I'm going Monangai in that one. And then Myers or Jennings. I'm hoping for a Jacoby Myers for Juwan Jennings trade. Let's look real quick at this matchup. So I'm leaning Jennings here simply because Brock Bowers is back. Juwan Jennings is supposed to be the lead target in that San Francisco 49ers offense. Jacksonville has been pretty bad against wide receivers. The 49ers are playing the Giants. The Giants have been almost as bad. So as far as matchups are concerned, it's pretty even. I don't know, man. I'm gonna lean Jennings, but I think that one's a toss up. I think you can go either way with that one. All right, and then so Monangai, and then I think they're pretty even. I think Myers out targets him, but Jennings out points him. All right, Goff, Knicks, or Brissett. Brissett has been playing pretty decent. I can see him doing better against the worst defense. Yeah, I agree, but I think you have to go with Goff here. It's a divisional matchup. Why does it keep doing that? Minnesota isn't terrible. And then Broncos. I don't know how much I trust Knicks. You got to go. You got to go with Goff. You got to go with Goff. The likelihood of Goff throwing 4 touchdowns is higher than Knicks or Brissett. I know that Knicks has his legs and Brissett's been playing better, but I mean it's Jared Goff. Hashtag Nevada boys. B Silva, congrats on your Dodgers. I won't say anything snarky. Just enjoy the win. I got to enjoy a few World Series wins with the Giants 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, and it feels good. It doesn't feel so good when your team is 500. I know you guys went through that a little bit, but now you're winning, and congrats and enjoy it. Shaheed, Jennings, or Parker Washington in full PPR? You know what? This is a great question. I'm leaning Washington on this one. I love Rashid Shaheed, and Juwan Jennings I've been high on all season. He just hasn't produced the way that I thought he would. But Parker Washington is in a position right now where he could absolutely smash. He's had some good games being the third wheel, and this week he's a primary target. So I think I'm actually going Washington on this one. Surprisingly, and that Schultze might be happy about that. Except that I predicted a Raiders upset of Jacksonville. All right, drop Dubs or Ertz. That's pretty good, you guys. I didn't know how Tequila and Milk were going to play, but as far as Dia de los Muertos goes, it's actually not too bad. The blue curacao sweetens it up a little bit. You get a little tequila on the back end, and then you can't go wrong with a nog. I would make that recipe 1.5, 1.5, 3, and an egg, I would make that into 2 cocktails. That's it. It feels like a lot. I'm halfway through it, and it feels heavy. So just make that into 2 cocktails. But yeah, I think I drop Ertz in this situation. And then one last one from B Silva, and we'll get out of here. Well, maybe not. Yeah, one last one from B Silva, and then we'll get out of here. Start 1, Juwan Johnson, TJ Hawkinson, Jonnu Smith, or AJ Barner. My instinct is Hawk. I think Hawk. Oh, wait. We have an amendment from his previous question. Hawkinson, Juwan Johnson, Jonnu Smith, or AJ Barner. I'm still saying Hawkinson. We're halfway into the season, so we might at some point see the Elijah Arroyo breakout. I know Barner's been a nice pop every once in a while. Juwan Johnson, I mean, it's the Saints. It's Tyler Shuck. We don't know what to expect. I think Hawkinson is the safe play here, and that's what I would do. And then he said, sorry, I meant Kamara, DK, Dubs, or Ertz. In that case, I'm dropping DK and hanging on to Ertz. If it was Dubs or Ertz, I would hang on to Dubs. And thank you guys for watching. Watch everything. Stay tuned for Spilled Coffee. Spilled Coffee. My brain and my mouth. Stay tuned for Spilled Coffee. They will have excellent answers to other questions. Watch our weekend wrap-up show on Tuesday. Points after Thursday. Thursday night after Thursday night football. Greinberg and I most weeks go live. I will be there this week. And then the Dynasty Pulse, if you play Dynasty, we've got a Dynasty show, the Dynasty Pulse. Great group of hosts and guests and questions and all kinds of stuff. And then we have our Sits show on Friday, our Starts show on Saturday, and run it back with Breakfast with Bigz next Sunday at 8:30. We're getting close to the playoffs, you guys. Fantasy football starts and sits questions are getting more and more important. So like and subscribe, hit the bell. If you're new here, hope you liked it. Maybe watch it again. Check out the cocktail if you missed it. I do that every week. And I thank you all for watching, and I hope you win.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to Fantasy